Hello, I'm here to make pickled onions with you today at the request of a few of my friends. So today we're going to make a very easy recipe that only has a few steps in it. I think that anybody with the right equipment in their home, a few jars and lids, a couple of onions and some vinegar and sugar with a few spices, can probably make this recipe. So what I've got here today is I've already done the chopping on the onions. I have used red onion and I tried to thinly slice it as much as I could, but I wasn't all that successful. Some of the pieces are thick, but I did try to keep as many actual onion rings as possible because I like how it turns out when there's a lot of the little rings to pull out of the jar. It's kind of nice. So what I have here is 1.5 cups of vinegar, half a cup of white sugar, a pinch of red pepper flakes and a few cloves in there, and some cinnamon sticks. And if you can believe it, I actually had a star anise. So I'm going to throw this in the mix as well. So what you do first is, I'm just boiling the kettle right now. You blanch the onions with some boiling water. I've got the colander ready to go there. I'm going to blanch the onions and they will sit in that hot water for a little while I'm preparing the mixture of the brine. And again, that's just the vinegar, sugar, and spices. The other secret ingredient that I'm going to throw in is a little bit of maple syrup, and I'll show you that in a minute. Ooh, I think the kettle is ready. It's getting a little impatient already. Here we go. Notice I didn't dress for the occasion. I'm still in my workout clothes, and I haven't worked out yet. So I'm just pouring this boiled water on top of the onions, filling it a little higher than the pile of onions, and we're gonna let them float in there for a little while. Okay, we're over at the stove now. Gonna get it started, put all the ingredients together. So first is our vinegar. I love this little Pampered Chef bowl. It has measurements on the side here, so it's really nice to work with when you're preparing your ingredients and you might run out of measuring cups, so I like that. Here goes the sugar, cinnamon and pepper flakes, and my secret ingredient is the maple syrup. This is from some friends of ours up in the Northland, and it's delicious. Thank you so much again, Mary Jo. Pouring that right in there. Get my wooden spoon and start stirring. We want to bring this to a boil. It shouldn't take too long with the sugar in there to heat up and start boiling. And here goes the other ingredients here. So all the cinnamon sticks, I basically have a larger one for each of the two larger jars that I'm going to be using, and then a half stick of cinnamon for each of the smaller jars. And I don't know how far my onions will take me in terms of filling the jars up, so I'm just playing it by ear. And I have this star anise, and where I got this from was, stupidly enough, a container of tea. So I have 6 or 8 of them that I pulled out of the container of tea, and we'll just see what happens when I throw it in there. The brine mixture is almost boiling, so while I wait for that to finish boiling, I'm going to drain the onions now and just put them in the colander, and then they're going to be transferred into the boiling pot of brine, where we're going to just stir them around for another 5 minutes or so. Here's the blanched onions. Raw. A couple of stragglers down in there. And back in the bowl they go. Get these lovely little pieces out. I like the small ones too. Little tiny onion ringlets. The pot is boiling nicely now. I'm going to reduce the heat, cover it, and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. There's the pot boiling now, 5 minutes in. The onions go in now to the pot, and we're going to just continue with them for a couple of minutes while it's boiling. Stir them a bit to mix the flavor all around. Oh, nice. It's a nice golden color, and I think that's because of the maple syrup. Perhaps the cinnamon might have something to do with it as well. So, oh, this is going to be very nice. Okay. Cover that up again and continue just simmering for another couple of minutes. Back again now as we finished with the simmering of the onions in the brine mix for at least 2 minutes. I'm gonna shut that down. Oh, it's sizzling nicely. Give it a little stir. In order to help me put it into the little jars now, I'm going to transfer this back into the bowl that I have with the handle and the spout, because once I've finished fishing all the onions out and putting them into the jars, I'll be pouring the liquid into the jars. So here we go. I just think it's a lot easier to use the bowl with a spout than the pot. Just get those little stragglers again. Smells really good. Got a nice pink colored things now from the onions themselves. Here's how full my bowl is. I'm going to take you over to the other counter now. Here we are now for the final step of pickled onions. As you can see, I've got our bowl here, still steaming, and I'm going to just slowly work first with the 2 big jars, because that's what I really wanted, was a couple of big jars. I don't know how many jars this will actually fill either, so I'm just going to play it by ear as we go along. I've actually got another clove or 2 in each of the jars in advance, because I don't know that I'll be able to find the cloves in this mix here and distribute them evenly enough either. So I thought I would do that in advance. Here we go. Oh, I'm not smushing them down too tightly either. I can hardly wait to have these on top of a salad, or perhaps on top of a grilled piece of meat, maybe a nice pork chop or something like that. They're really a delicious addition to anything as a garnish. I think that's good for my first jar. There's half a stick of cinnamon. Don't want that yet. Let me find a large piece, because that's meant to go in the jar with it as well. Okay, 1 large cinnamon stick down inside there. Keeping on going. I'm just trying to be patient here and grab the onions, put them in gently without burning myself. Éclatante plaisir, hélas, 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 et sur la tête les vents fait savoir. Oh, there's the other larger cinnamon stick. I can plop that in. Perfect. You know what would work nicely for this task is a slotted spoon, but I thought that the fork would do a good job. I was mistaken. I think I'm only going to have enough onions for one of the baby jars here, which is good. So 1.5 large onions, that's the yield. It's not very many, but these only keep for about 4 to 6 weeks in your fridge. I'm not actually doing a proper canning with these, with the sealing of the lids in the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to finger tighten the lids once they cool down a little bit, and then I'll tighten the lids all the way after they've cooled, and then you'll hear a pop when the heat has suctioned the lids down, and you know then that it's sealed. So here's a little baby jar. I'm just going to run and grab my slotted spoon and see if it makes a difference. Ha-ha! Well, perhaps it is going to make a difference. Grab those onions. Too many cinnamon sticks now. Put 2 in here, 2 of the half ones. There's the star anise. Going to stick it down in there. Maybe another half cinnamon stick in each of these baker jars. That counts for all of them. Mets-toi, noble océan, que la sonde tourmentée ne saurait ravager. Okay, now I'm going to pour the brine in. Just want to get it to the top of each jar. Hopefully I have enough. There we go. 1. 2. And 3. A little more here and a little more there. Wow, here we go. That is the finished product. Scoop out a few more cloves from the bottom of the bowl. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I hope that you enjoyed watching and that you'll try this at home too. You won't regret it. Serre-tu plus dignement lorsque tu te lamentes, tu te prends à songer. Le trésor du verger et le jardin fête, les flûtes chantent et bois, éclatant des plaisirs, hélas, hélas, et c'est la tête